Back in with our last group here in Cordova, who have been working on restoring a local wetland using native plants. We're here at Odiak Pond, which is a student-managed wetland in Cordova. Let's get back to Kate, who has also been working with students of many different grades on monitoring and restoring this wetland habitat. So what can you tell me about what you've been doing here, Kate?
Well, I've been working with students since 2009 to study this pond ecosystem. We caught coho salmon and proved that they were living here, and we were able to turn that data into the state of Alaska. They maintain a catalog called the Anadromous Waters Catalog, where all streams, ponds that are important for salmon rearing, migration, and spawning are listed so that we can provide better protections for those important waterways. And so this, in the heart of our community, is a great opportunity to restore a habitat that supports a species that's very important to our local economy. Got commercial fishing families represented right here, right, Dane? All right, so we've been doing a lot of restoration work, and today we're going to be working in our native plant garden that we're establishing here. We'll be raising native plants for educational purposes, as well as to generate seeds for revegetation projects in areas where we remove invasive plants. We will stop by our plots where we're experimenting with different methods for removing invasive plants, and finally we'll demonstrate how we transplant vegetation to help improve the wetland habitat. So this project with the native plants, where we're going to start, began in March when we planted seeds in the classroom, and I have some students here who are going to talk about some of the native plants we're growing for our garden.
Fantastic.
So Elena, what was one of the seeds that you remember planting?
Blue joint reedgrass, because it helps control erosion, has shelter and protection for animals, and it gives them food.
Yeah, and you remember why I was really excited about blue joint reedgrass for our revegetation projects?
Because it gives off a lot of seeds.
Exactly, great. And Jimmy, what's another plant that we're growing?
Sedges, because they control erosion. They like wet places. They're shelter and protection for small fish. They clean water and soil, and they're food for animals.
Great, yep, so sedges are going to be also very important. And Dane, what's another plant that we're growing for our garden?
Wormwood, because it helps cure medicinal problems. It's food for people and animals, and yeah.
Great. Well, it looks like we have some of our teammates that are already busy building the rock walls, so let's go and join them and get our garden ready for planting.
Okay.
So this bed here is what we're going to try to make into our mini wetlands. So, Jimmy, do you think that maybe your plants would like this, the sedges, because they like that wet environment?
And so the three plants that you discussed are going to be planted in here to be able to be transplanted? Or they're just going to
They're going to be transplanted here, and then the seeds will be harvested, and we'll dry the seeds out in the fall. We'll collect them in the fall, dry them out over the winter, and then when we remove tarps where we're trying to get rid of an invasive plant, then there's an exposed area with no plants, and so we'd like to use these seeds to revegetate because they're native plants. They're already accustomed to growing in this climate, and like Elena said, the blue joint reedgrass produces a lot of seeds, so it's an effective tool for spreading in these barren areas to get native plants to regrow. All right, well maybe let's start with the invasive plants before we get dirty. Does anyone want to share what you think invasive plants are?
They could take over areas, and they won't let native plants grow because they take over too much.
Yeah, so one of the plants that we're doing restoration work on is reed canary grass, trying to remove it, and that's a plant that can reproduce by its rhizomes, so it doesn't even need seeds. It just grows from its plant and can form very, very dense mats, and it makes it hard for other native vegetation to grow. And because it's so dense, Micah, do you think it's any good for wildlife if it's a really dense mat? No, they can't live in it, that's right. And it's not very edible, so local wildlife doesn't like to eat it. Because it's a little early, we're not going to plant everything yet. Here in Alaska, spring comes late. But we'll go ahead and demonstrate what we'll do once we're ready to plant this whole garden. This bed that we constructed, we're going to make into a mini wetland so that people that visit this park are going to be able to learn about wetland plants. So Jimmy, earlier you talked about what type of plant?
Sedges.
All right, what do you have in that bucket?
Sedges.
Sedges, great. So sedges need what kind of environment to grow in?
Wet places.
Wet places. So we're going to pretend this is our garden bed here. And we're going to start. Dane, can I have your help down here? What's in this bucket there? Yeah. What is that?
Sand.
Sand. So we're going to start fill this bucket about that deep with sand. So why do you think we put sand to help make it a wetland? Do you think about if we were to pour a cup of water through these rocks that we're sitting on or through the sand?
Make mud.
This will make mud. The water won't flow through as quickly, right? All right. And then, Elena, can you tell me, do plants get a lot of nutrients out of sand?
No.
No. So what else should we add to our bucket?
Soil.
Soil, yeah. Do you want to add some of that soil into this bucket? Excellent. And so what does that soil have in it that helps make plants grow? Does anyone remember?
Fertilizer.
Well, this might have some extra fertilizer, but what is the N word that the plants need to make their food?
Nutrients.
Nutrients, excellent. So Jimmy, come on down with your sedges. Great, yeah, we'll get a hole going in there. So what do you have? What's this part here?
Roots.
And so why are these roots important? Why are they important for the plant? That's all right, that's extra. Why are these roots important for the plant?
They suck up water.
Mm-hmm. And why are they important to us? Why do we like these roots? What do they help when we plant them along the edges of streams?
They help erosion and they don't go away. This makes them stick into the ground.
Yep, and exactly what you said. It helps keep the dirt in place too, so it doesn't erode away. All right, let's make sure we get those roots down in the bottom there. Elena and I have parted. See if you can get that plant, get those roots down as far as you can. Excellent. Okay, and so now we'll fill in around. And you can see that that one actually has 2 shoots growing off of the same plant. So kind of how reed canary grass grows, super effective. Excellent. Well, the last thing we'll need is to add some water, but we'll have to get that later.